Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again it's time for the Texas Gun Vault Poll Question of the Week. This was a segment that I originally posted on my old channel before it was taken down, and since I have reposted all 103 episodes here on the Texas Gun Vault 2. So here we are making our first one in about 5 months. I love making this segment because I like to put my finger on the pulse of the gun community. And this week's question deals with something that has arisen especially in the past 6 months to a year, and that is YouTube firearms legal channels that are really clickbaity. You guys know the ones that I'm talking about. There's not just one or two, but there's a few out there that have these thumbnails that say groundbreaking, we win, breaking news, and when you actually watch the video, it has almost nothing to do with what the thumbnail was talking about or what the description said it was about. This groundbreaking news is something that you were already aware of, like Joe Biden is pushing for an assault weapons ban. And you're like, well, that was breaking news back in 1989. So, do these channels help or hurt the firearms community? I know for many of us, they're kind of annoying. But I wanted to see what you all thought. So without further ado, let's dive right in to this week's question. In the past few months and years, there seemed to have been a meteoric rise in the number of firearms YouTube channels that have popped up that dedicate themselves to Second Amendment news and legal issues rather than shooting or firearms themselves. As these channels are now very popular, the creators have become more and more competitive for clicks and views. This has led many of them to turn to clickbait tactics such as deceptive titles and thumbnails, often saying very little of value or the main point of the video having little to do with the actual big win or breaking news. Do you feel that these channels are doing the gun community a disservice in this type of approach to creating content? Now, there's a couple of things I do want to mention. As a content creator here on YouTube, I totally understand the pressure and the need to constantly be putting out new videos and creating new content. It's just the way the YouTube and Rumble algorithms work. The channels that create consistent content get bumped up in people's recommendations. And so because of this, creators are constantly trying to release new content. But sometimes, especially in the legal world where courts move so slow, there's really nothing to talk about. So you have to exaggerate things, or you have to come up with innovative ways of talking about very mundane topics. And so I don't begrudge many of the channels for doing that. I do believe at their heart they do want to keep people informed, but how do you make a channel that is dedicated to legal things get hundreds of thousands of clicks? Well, you give people hope and you tell them this is groundbreaking news. It's a huge win. And when you actually get into the video and towards the end of the video, you find out that this huge win is just that another pro-gun group was added to a court case. And the court case is years from even being heard. So is it really a big win? And did they try to get you to click on the video because of hope? As somebody said in my comments section recently, hope is not a plan. And that's what I think many of these gun channels peddle. But that's how I personally feel. But with all of that said, let's see what your results are for this week. And with only 155 votes this week, considering that this is now on the Texas Gun Vault 2 and few people know about it, I'm pretty happy with that number. We have, yes, they lied to people with false hopes and spread information, 25%. Yes, they are more annoying than anything. They waste my time. 49%. No, they provide good information and bring people into the Second Amendment. 19%. Neither. I do not watch the Second Amendment news or legal channels. 2%. And something else, explain in the comments. 5%. So it definitely seems like the people that I personally think that are really informed, because obviously they're watching the Texas Gun Vault and the Texas Gun Vault 2, overwhelmingly feel that these channels are annoying and actually do a disservice to the Second Amendment community. Now, I should say, there are some fantastic channels out there that do great work. The two that come to mind that I personally watch and really enjoy are Washington Gun Law and Four Boxes Diner. These are two attorneys that break everything that's going on down. They don't try to clickbait you. They don't tell you what to think. They don't give you false hopes. They're very realistic in their approach. And in some ways, they're very boring because they give you the whole procedural drama of what's actually happening. And sometimes when it comes to the way the courts work, it's mundane, it's boring, and it's repetitive. But they do great work. But then there are other channels, and yes, I am going to call out a couple on this video. One that bothers me a lot is The Armed Scholar. Now, I am not saying that this person that runs this channel is a bad person or has any malice in his heart. I'm sure he is a great person when you meet him. However, I personally find that his tactics for creating content is annoying, misleading, and dangerous. And because of that, that's why I made this poll, because I actually have some personal feelings on the gun community as a whole. Since I'm a content creator, I see stuff all the time in my comment section, and it has really opened my eyes to how people feel, think, and react, especially to news. And I worry that because people are going to overreact to certain things, they might do something rash. And you guys know that when it comes to our community, all it takes is for one person to ruin it for everybody else. But I'm going to talk about that when I break each one of these down. So I'll give you my opinion on each one of these. Yes, they lie to people with false hopes and spread misinformation. And this is actually the one that I would have voted on. And the reason I would have voted on this one is just because I was saying a moment ago that the actions of one person can ruin it for the community as a whole. As I have gotten older, I've discovered that those warning labels on things like toaster ovens and hair dryers that say, "Don't use this in a bathtub," are actually there for a reason, because there's people out there that will try to make toast and dry their hair while sitting in a bathtub full of water. I know, for a lot of us, we sit and go, that is common sense. But there's a lot of people out there that think that's perfectly normal and really cool. Well, there's people in the gun community like that too, that you have to be very careful of. So if you have a clickbaity thumbnail that says, "Huge win, Texas legalizes suppressors," and then in the description and in the title, it says that the courts dismantled the NFA and suppressors are legal in Texas. Well, somebody that's not going to sit down and actually watch this clickbaity video to find out that actually that's not the case. All that happened was Texas passed a law that legalizes suppressors if the NFA goes away, and it's going to try to fight the NFA in court. Well, those people are going to go, "Wow, I can now go buy a made in Texas suppressor. I'm going to make one my own because this legal channel from a lawyer says I can." And then they get in trouble when they go on and do something they're not supposed to do. And then it makes it look bad on all of us, because people just see the thumbnail, they just see the title of the video, and they go and do something rash. Now, even if they don't hurt the gun community as a whole, it's potentially hurting their life and their family. I believe that as a content creator, it is imperative that we give good and accurate information to the best of our ability, that we don't mislead people. Because what if I said something was legal on my channel when in actuality it was not, or I gave you the impression it was legal, and then you go out and do this thing saying, "Hey, I saw this on a YouTube channel and a lawyer said it, therefore it must be legal," and then they get arrested and they spend 10 years in jail and their family life is ruined. Well, isn't the content creator responsible for some of that? As they say, with great power comes great responsibility, and especially the big firearms legal channels that have hundreds, if not millions of subscribers, I believe they have great responsibility to the community. And when they use clickbait and false titles, I hate to say it, I think that they are culpable if somebody commits something that is illegal because they saw their videos. It's so imperative, in my opinion, that people get good information, and that's how we're going to win all of these Second Amendment cases and protect the Second Amendment going forward. Because without truth and honesty, we have nothing. We can't win this battle on emotions alone. Then we have, yes, they are more annoying than anything. They waste my time. Now, this is the one that I personally feel. My mind says to vote for option 1. My heart says to vote for option 2. In fact, there's a few that I don't even watch anymore. One of them is the Arms Scholar. It used to get me all excited. Oh my God, it says Supreme Court strikes down NFA or strips the ATF of power to regulate suppressors or what have you. And then my hopes are dashed. Why do you lie to me? Why do you have to say this is a huge win and then you discover that nothing has changed? I feel so dejected and disappointed at the end of the video. As the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But every video that comes out every day is all about creating hope and then dashing those hopes, especially if it's one that is positive. Personally, I think it is bad. It brings people down. You think you've had some type of great win, and then you really haven't. And sometimes they say, big news, great win, and it's actually a loss when you look at it in the aggregate. How does that help the Second Amendment community? I don't think it does at all. Then we have no, they provide good information and bring people into the Second Amendment. Now, I completely understand why people would have voted for this, because these other people are doing the hard, boring work. A lot of people aren't geeks like I am, where I'm going to go actually read a Supreme Court case decision and read the opinion and read the dissent. Most people just want everything given to them in little tidbits and notes. I totally get it. So they don't have to go out and read the news. They don't have to learn about the law. They're just told about it in little doses. And every time I watch these clickbaity videos, it always amazes me how many people in the comment section thank the creator and say, thank you for doing this, you're doing God's work. And I'm like, they're not doing anything. Now listen, I'm glad that there are content creators out there talking about legal issues in the firearms world, but I'm also a little bit dismayed that the biggest channels right now seem to be the firearms legal channels. Aren't we the Second Amendment community? Shouldn't most of our videos be about guns and firearms and gun reviews or talking about guns in some way once in a while? Many of these channels don't even show you a gun or talk about a gun, or you even see the creator shoot a gun. It all becomes this mental mumbo jumbo based off of hopes. And that's not a plan. But once again, I understand why some people like this. And if you voted for this, I do respect it. But I don't think this is necessarily helping the Second Amendment community when you have all these clickbaity channels that are just trying to get clicks and views. And honestly, I think lie to you. Then we have neither. I do not watch Second Amendment news or legal channels. Now, this is the one that I might be in the near future, because I'm getting tired of having these legal updates every day when absolutely nothing is happening. One of the big downsides to our legal system is how slow everything works. From the time someone brings up a lawsuit and challenges it in court to when it finally might be heard by the Supreme Court can take years. And so why do we need an update on this every single day? But they have to create something, otherwise the YouTube algorithm bumps them down and they don't make money. So they got to get you clicking on those videos. So maybe one day I'm finally going to give up on them all, because many times they don't help me because they don't say anything. Then we have something else explained in the comments. So overall, I was glad to see many other people agree with me on this, but it does sadden me that these legal firearms channels are as big as they are. In fact, they're bigger than many of the older firearm shooting channels, which I don't think makes any sense. That's just the trend right now on YouTube and on Rumble. So that's how I feel about this. So let's see what you guys had to say with the top rated comments of the week. And I also want to say that YouTube is constantly changing between your channel name and your handle. If you guys don't know what a YouTube handle is, well, I'm really sorry. I think YouTube asked you to create some type of handle with an @ sign, and it can be the same as your YouTube channel name. Some people have it different. So I know a lot of you by your YouTube channel name and not your handle name, but that's what we have today, what YouTube is showing me. So you'll have to forgive me for that. With our top rated comment of the week, we have 19mm58 who says, off topic here, but I'm glad this segment is back. I may not always comment on the questions or even vote, but I really enjoy reading the comments and hearing your commentary. Well, thank you very much. And it's okay that you were a little bit off topic, but I'm glad you're back, and I'm so glad to be back making this content. Then we have Pop Culture Prepper who says, I'm glad someone said it. We all can choose what we want to watch, but it's definitely annoying seeing the same clone channels with the same dramatic and exaggerated titles all the time. It is the same as the without this one item you won't survive SHTF Prepper videos. Yeah, exactly. But guess what? As long as people still click on those videos, they're going to make them. But the choice is yours. And as I said, I'm kind of pulling back from many of these channels. Then we have Longslide1911A1 who said, I hate clickbait videos, but I still watch them for some information. We all know which ones are clickbait, and take what they say with a grain of salt. And yes, I think that's probably the best approach. As I said, I have a few channels that I really like. I know they're a little bit boring to some people, and there's some channels that I completely ignore and don't watch anymore. And I think the only reason I still follow them and see them on my feed is to see the crazy clickbaity thumbnails, because sometimes I want to capture those for future videos where I talk about this topic. Then we have Joe Morgan Eat My Shorts channel said, just because they claim to doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. And I completely understand where he's coming from. Sometimes people think I'm some type of expert in firearms because I'm the guy on YouTube making gun content. And I fully admit sometimes that I don't know everything about every gun. I just give you the information that I have or give you my opinions. And I tell you, they're my opinions. I do kind of wish that these legal firearms channels would do more of that. If they have an opinion, say it's an opinion. If they have a fact, say it's a fact. But whatever they say in the video, I do think it has to line up with what the thumbnail and the title of the video say. Then we have Twilight Wolf Spirit who says, I agree they are over the top clickbaity. But if you fast forward about a minute or two, you get to the point of the video which discussed typically a state-level court decision or a case the Supreme Court may take on. As such, they do inform, but only after getting past the clickbaity info. Would be nice to have a summary format of important cases from the week or month just to inform. And you know, that's a great idea. The big news needs to be in some type of aggregate video. Here's what happened this week, here's what happened this month, and I would probably watch that, especially if it was concise and to the point. And then our final comment of the video is from Spirit Moon Intuitive, who said, when people spread misinformation about any subject, it does a community a disservice. I don't waste my time. Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. I have a number of hobbies, from music to amateur radio. Well, I guess music really is my profession, but I still watch a lot of music videos on what I do, which is brass playing. And there's a lot of people out there, even in those things, that think they know what they're talking about, but don't. And so I have to wade through all of that and go, man, this is a waste of my time. So I understand where Spirit Moon is coming from. So that is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week, number 104. What I think about this and what you think about this. I was so glad that my thoughts and opinion lined up with so many of yours. So if you want to participate in next week's poll, please go to the community tab of the Texas Gun Vault 2. I will put a link in the description below and as a pinned comment. Please go over there, see what the poll is about. Make sure to vote, comment, and like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. So I'm glad that I'm back, and I'm looking forward to making many more of these videos and growing the Texas Gun Vault 2. So as always, thanks for watching.